Burrs all over my body. Hello! Welcome back to Harry Has a Cocktail. This is episode 6. I'm up to 33 subscribers, which is better than the last time I checked because it was around 8. It's 33. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 episodes. It's all happening. I'm continuing with the That's Amaro box that I got from Shaker and Spoon. Last week I made... What did I make last week? It was called Vino Labra. And so we are continuing with the world of Amaro. If you remember from last week, Amaro is an aperitif made in Italy, and it's usually bitter. There's a wide range of Amaros, ranging from very bitter to sweet. This week, I'm going to make something called the Slippery Slopes. That's why I'm wearing this toque. Does anyone out there call it a toque? I guess if you're Canadian, you call it a toque. My friend Sharon and my friend Steve, my friend Eric, we used to watch a movie called Strange Brew. These are for all you people who used to watch movies in the 80s. Strange Brew was a Canadian film with Bob and Doug McKenzie. Anyway, that's a toque. Anyway, I'm already sweating, so I'm going to take it off. And here I am, my natural bald self. So, the slippery slopes. Here we go. Going skiing? You're in luck. While you're out enjoying those slippery slopes, you can look forward to imbibing some slippery slopes. A delightfully rich on the palate concoction from Sother Teague of NYC's Amor y Amargo and Coup. C-O-U-P? Coup? Coop? And even if you're just staying home and cozying up as the weather turns colder, this jazzy number will make you feel like you're right where you should be, wherever you are. There are 2 versions of this drink. One is made with cold brew coffee, and one you can also make a hot version. So I'm going to make both and see how they compare. The ingredients we're going to use are as follows. We've got the Averna, which is the Amaro that I'm using. This is a package of Sother's Spiced Hot Cocoa Mix. Right here we have the cold brew. I made the cold brew coffee yesterday, actually, and I have some tape on that. Let's cut to the tape. The Shaker and Spoon box gives you this Grady's cold brew kit. So there are bean bags in here. It didn't tear off too well there. I don't want to cut one of the bean bags because then I'll have coffee going all over the place. Okay, here we go. So the bean bag was in here, and this is filled with delicious smelling coffee. And you put it into 2 cups of filtered water, which I have right here. And you put it into and you want to press it down with a spoon or something to keep it underwater. And then you basically let this sit overnight in the refrigerator. Or for at least 12 hours. After the coffee is brewed, it'll actually last for a week in the refrigerator. I'm going to use it the next day, so it's good. I'll check back tomorrow. And we're back. We also use a 1/4 ounce of toasted coconut syrup. Cool. Also a spritz of orange oil. Orange oil. Very cool. It looks pretty straightforward. So here we go. Here's how you make the slippery slopes. So we add the first 4 ingredients to an empty mixing glass. 1.5 ounces of Amaro. Ooh, spilled some of it. I hate spilling alcohol. It's the worst feeling. 1.5 ounces of the cold brew coffee. 1 tablespoon of the hot cocoa mix. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. And a 1/4 ounce of toasted coconut syrup. Doesn't really have a smell. A 1/4 ounce. And first I stir to dissolve the cocoa mix. Now, one of my watchers, Mike Hampton. Mike, if you're watching, hi, hello. He said he made this drink and he had a bit of a difficult time getting the cocoa mix to dissolve in the cold water. Which I have to say, that's something that I'm experiencing right now too. Yeah, it's not, mixing, still mixing. Not having a hard time dissolving it. I wonder how long this will take. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I mixed it for, I would say, about, 2 minutes, and now it's dissolved, which is great. Now we fill the glass with ice and stir until the mixing glass feels cold, About 20 to 40 seconds depending on the ice size. I'd say that was about 20 to 40 seconds. And now we are going to strain it over fresh ice in a rocks glass.
Ooh, that looks delectable.
And then it says you can finish by adding a spritz of orange oil to the top of the drink. Orange oil? I wonder what this tastes like. Having a hard time getting anything out of it. You've got to like sort of screw it open first. Yeah, I couldn't get it to open. Here we go. Kind of have to pull it up so that it gets a good go. Ooh. And now, I'm gonna try it. Oh my God, it's so good. I mean, it's basically a really delicious, chocolatey, alcoholic Yoo-hoo. Yeah, delicious, chocolatey, alcoholic Yoo-hoo. That's what it is. This is delicious. Very sweet. You know, it's interesting. Something I'm seeing about the Amaros is that, I mean, so far with the Vino Labra the other day, and certainly with this drink, the tendency here is, I'm not criticizing anyone, obviously, but because what do I know? But Amaro, which is bitter, people are making drinks with it and kind of putting sweet stuff in to make it less bitter. And I guess my question is, why not just leave it bitter? I'm sure I'm going to run into many other drinks that sort of remain bitter. Maybe I should amend what I'm saying about this. I don't know that it's very sweet. It doesn't make me go. It's just that I'm, you know, maybe also I'll have to say, because I'm using the Averna, it's a very middle of the road Amaro. If it's not completely bitter and not completely sweet, but it is in the middle and it's sort of sweet and sort of bitter, then when you add sweet stuff to it, then obviously it's going to be more sweet. So there you go. That's the cold brew version of the Slippery Slopes. Cheers. Now I'm going to make the hot version of the Slippery Slopes that you could have after you've gone skiing. I do not ski. I've skied a few times. My brother skis, my sister skis, my niece and nephew ski. I do not ski. When I was in graduate school, I actually threw out my back pretty badly and actually eventually had to have a surgery several years later. So I just, I refrain from that sport. I'm just too worried about breaking my leg or breaking my back or breaking my butt. So here's the warm version. I wanted to present it in a clear glass. I don't have a clear mug. I think this rocks glass is going to hold up okay under the heat. I think obviously the hot cocoa mix will dissolve much more easily in the hot coffee. I'm gonna add the cocoa mix first. So here is a tablespoon of the cocoa and 2 ounces, if you're gonna use hot, use 2 ounces of hot coffee. So I'm gonna just go ahead and I made some coffee for the occasion.
Here's one.
And boy, that metal jigger gets really hot with hot coffee. Ow! I'm okay. Yeah, and that dissolved rather quickly.
A 1/4 ounce of the toasted coconut syrup. Averna Amaro, 1.5 ounces.
Just stirring it up a little bit more just to make sure the all the hot cocoa mix is dissolved. And here we go, let's try the warm version. Ooh. Really tasty. I think I agree with you, Mike. I like the warm version better. It's basically the difference between having a hot chocolate and having a Yoo-hoo. And interestingly enough, maybe, I don't know, Mike, maybe you'd agree with me. The warm version actually doesn't taste nearly as sweet to me. It's as if the heat of the coffee has intensified the Amaro instead of the cold feels like for some reason it intensified the sweetness of the cocoa mix. That's my assessment. The warm version just tastes a little more, it has more of a sophistication to it, I guess. I think one of the reasons why I stopped liking sweeter cocktails is because when you drink a sweet cocktail, you can drink a sweet cocktail and just be unaware that you're getting drunk, which, hey, I mean, some people, that's what they're, I don't necessarily feel like that's why I drink. It's more to have an experience. It's not just to get drunk. And the sweetness of cocktails, of a lot of cocktails, I think it's just like you're drinking punch and you just like knock them back and knock them back. Something like this where you can actually feel the heat of the alcohol as you're drinking it. You can have an awareness of what you're doing. The drink itself is the experience. You know, a good drink, good food, good friends, good conversation. You know, you want to sort of savor it. Whereas when you're drinking some kind of sweet alcoholic punch, you're just kind of like, hey, let's drink. You know, so that's just not my thing. So there you go. Slippery slopes. They are both delicious. I have now had almost both slippery slopes. Thanks as always for tuning in, and cheers.